We'll start here and then work our way. Ladies, at what age is a man at his peak?
Like,
in your opinion?
Pero,
28 to, is it just a range or just a
You
number?
could give me a range if
Okay,
that's easier for you.
28 to like 35.
Okay. What about you?
Honestly, I think I would say the same as I chose for
28
women.
to 35? Okay.
No, the same as I chose for women. Like I said, 24 to 28, right? Yeah.
Okay. You think a man's peak is 24 to 28 too?
We're equal.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
We're
All right.
equal.
Interesting. All right. What about you?
29 to maybe like 40.
That's a big range. Okay.
Or no, 30.
30 to 40? That's still a big range, but that's fine. What about you? What do you think a man's peak is?
35 to 40.
Okay. What about you?
I mean, are we talking financially, success? Or are we
The
talking
things that
physically?
make a man attractive. The things that make a man attractive, what do you think age he has the most of that at?
That's a huge range because that could happen for any guy at any time, but I'd say maybe average, probably like 40.
40.
Around there.
What about you?
Like 27 to 37. I don't know if that's too long, but
that is a big range.
Okay,
but,
27 to 32.
Okay, so you actually brought it down. You know, I find it interesting, right? So I asked you guys, the original question was, if you had a rich and famous son at 45 years old, what age would you want his woman to be to maximize his happiness? And I got some answers: 30 to 35, 45, 29 to 30, 35 to 50, 32 to 35, 25 to 30. And I mean, I did expect this. And then I asked you guys, what age is a man at his peak? And then the ages are significantly older. So wouldn't it be fair to say that like a man at his peak is going to want a woman at her peak? Because I want to ask you guys, what's a woman's peak age? You guys all gave significantly younger ages. You guys catch on to that? So like, I asked you, what would your son want, right? That's famous and has money for his happiness. You guys all gave me these old ass answers. And then a lot of you, 3 of you actually gave the answer, he'll be able to relate to her, right? And he just went on in a whole explanation as to like, we don't need to relate to you to be attracted to you.
Wait.
Right?
I'm sorry, because you're looking at me, and I feel like I
No.
She's like, I'm not
you. You triggered my trap card. You gave the youngest. You said 25 to 30. You were the only one that gave in the 20s, pretty much. You and her.
I did.
She just made it, but she said, yeah. So, I find it interesting. So I asked what makes what would be the happiest. You guys gave me, in your opinion, all these old ages. Then I went and asked, what's a woman's peak age? You all gave me significantly younger ages. Then I asked, what's a man's peak age? And it's significantly older, but you expect the man that's significantly older at his peak to get a woman that isn't in her peak.
That doesn't mean that you have to wait till you're at your peak to get a woman necessarily.
As a man?
I'm just saying, I feel like because of the way the world works, most men they don't get money as fast as women. I will say that you're right there.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And I feel like it does take them a little longer to get fully financially stable, but that doesn't mean that at
She
that
said
point,
stable. You said financially stable.
Well,
say what you're really looking for.
They aren't balling until they're a little bit older now.
There you go.
And that they don't have to wait to that point to start looking for a woman. Like we're saying, like we're kind of putting this.
They could look all they want, but the reality is that as a woman at her peak gonna accept him when he's not at his.
I mean, as long as they're working towards it and close to it, yeah.
So
they
you're
don't have to
making
be
the
at their
argument.
peak. You said peak, not like even on the rise.
Yeah, but he's got to be on a really big incline for her to be at her peak and take a chance on him.
Okay, if we're just talking the incline and not peak, then I'm going to lower my age a little bit. I'd say more like mid-30s even.
I mean, goddamn.
Lower what age? The woman's peak? The man's peak? What are you talking about?
I didn't say peak. You're saying for a woman to find a man attractive, it doesn't have to be at his peak. It could be before his peak.
Because of ambition?
As long as,
is what you're
yes,
saying?
absolutely. Ambition is, ambition with some success behind it is
Ambition ain't gonna fly you into Rome.
Okay, we're getting away from the point here. I don't know if you ladies catch what I'm doing here. Like, there's a vast discrepancy between what you guys think a man wants to maximize his happiness versus what he actually wants and what he's attracted to. Because like when I asked you guys the questions segmented, your answers don't align. Does that make sense? Okay, let's go one more time. I asked you, what would make a man to maximize his happiness? What age would you want his wife to be? And I'm asking you, and this is your son, you care about him, you want to maximize his happiness. What age should his girlfriend be? You guys all gave me pretty much, I would say the average is about 35 to 40 years old, majority. Only 2 girls I think gave me age in the 20s, but it was in the late 20s, right?
No.
Yes, 25 to 30, right? So was like the youngest range. But majority, 30s and 40s. And then when I asked specifically why, it was, he can relate to her more. She has a brain. She's got things going, blah, 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 right? Then I asked, okay, well, when's a woman at her peak? You guys all gave significantly younger ages. Then when I asked you, when's a man at his peak? You gave older ages. So why would a man who's at his peak get with a girl that's not at her peak anymore in her 30s, like you guys said before?
I get the same.
See how it does? No, you didn't. You definitely didn't.
It's the same.
You definitely didn't. So do you guys see where I'm going here?
I see. Okay, I see where you're going to some extent. Wait.
Okay,
Are you gonna
let's
say
see
I what
something?
you're saying, but like, what about
this is-
genuine
this-
like
bruh.
friendships,
This is-
relationships?
This is what I mean. Like, yo, this experiment proves precisely what I've been saying for the better part of almost 4 fucking years. Women don't know what men want. They don't give a fuck what men want, and they only know what they want. That's what it comes down to. And you said earlier, women don't have empathy. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
They really don't. Because I'll tell you guys this, we got to know what you guys want.
Got to.
We got to know how to be attractive. We got to know how to talk well. We got to be a slick talker, have our apartment nice and everything. Going back to what I was saying before with you, right? Like, girls think, I just wanted to fuck too. No, you didn't.
No.
He attracted you through certain things that he did, verbal and nonverbal, the way he looks, etc. But women, on the other hand, you guys just exist. You don't know what it takes to actually keep a man a lot of times, if I'm going to be honest. A lot of girls can attract the guy, but can you keep him?
Yeah.
Wait,
I
when you
would also
said-
argue
oh,
as well
sorry.
that they don't care because
They don't give a fuck
for
at all.
them it's like
all.
I'm gonna live my life how I want to live it, and you're just joining my life how I see it. However, they don't see what comes behind the paywall. For example, what a guy went through sacrifice to get to that point, and as a result, it's like he just showed up to me.
And then this is
That's the
why
package.
guys like Leonardo, they got the game figured out. They've caught on to this, and they say, you know what? Women don't really give a fuck about what I want.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm going to start dating selfishly like women do. I'm going to date women at their peak, and then I'm going to get rid of them when they start to decline. Because whether you want to accept it, ladies, or not, 18 to 24 is actually your main peak.
Yes.
After 25, you start to drop off precipitously when it comes to sexual market value. Your eggs start to go off. You start to get wrinkles in certain places that you didn't have before. Not as attractive as you were 10 years
Trauma
prior.
as well.
It is what it is. And then you have had sex with more guys, had more relationships with
Too
guys.
many guys.
These things kind of drag into your personality and your worldview, kind of fucks it up. You lose your novelty when it comes to men. You might have traveled to certain places. Like you said before, you might have been in Dubai, got a bad experience here. Oh my God, I don't hate Arab men now, blah, blah, blah. Everything starts to become clouded. So he realizes this. He's like, they want me at my peak. So you know what? I'm going to play the same game. I'm going to get them at their peak and get rid of them when they're dropping off. And that's why so many women get angry, because guys that figure this out do the same shit that you guys do. You guys want to date guys at their peak. You want to date a guy that has money and status and all this clout, etc.
Ambition.
The hero's journey. Remember that hero's journey I told you about? That you got mad about? That you said women don't have to deal with? Or women actually experience? You guys don't experience a hero's journey. The man has to become the hero for the woman so she can look up to him. This is my hero. That's what you guys want. You don't want to be the hero and have the guy look up to you. It don't work. It doesn't work. This is why I say all the time. Women don't build. They just move in.
And ladies, we're not saying, we're not
I
saying,
agree, though. I agree to what you just said.
we're not saying that you can't have happiness.
Yeah.
We're just saying knowing how men operate and what they actually want will win you the man that you actually truly desire. And if you don't understand this, then you're stuck in her situation of being Miss Africa.
Hey.
And you know what's crazy? Because you asked the ladies, what do they think?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thinking is not necessarily the primary modality of the human female. And
Misogyny.
It's true.
right?
It's true. They don't. Like, for example, I hate to pick on you, but you didn't even give a thought out
but you gonna get this work.
response. When I said women don't go through the hero's journey, you
Misogyny.
literally responded by saying women give birth. With all due respect, that's a retarded response. Like, if a man told me that, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, you're an idiot. But since you're a woman, I obviously held back, like, okay, she doesn't understand. She's a woman. She's acting off of emotion. But if a man made a ridiculous argument like that, we'd all laugh at him and be like, bro, what the fuck is wrong? Are you dumb?
Yeah,
Nigga,
bitch.
like, what are you talking about? Like, you're trying to, like, equate giving birth as a woman to the hero's journey as a man. Like, are you fucking stupid? But again, you responded emotionally, like, oh, I didn't even gonna think, like, my feelings. And then you respond. So, sorry, you were just talking about how women don't think.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't say it that
Misogyny.
blatantly, but essentially.
I just had to give an example. I had to give an
Right.
example.
So I was traveling through a couple countries recently, and every time you're out in the nightlife, and women will let you know, like, hey, come talk to me. And so we meet a whole bunch of women, and every single time, eventually, always like in the 13th hour, I'm like, oh, how old are you? I'm like, oh, I'm this age. They'll be like, oh, because I'm like 20. Like, I didn't know you were that age. Like, you look so young. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, now, one, I'm a little bit jet lagged right now, and I'm wearing a proper suit. But so, yeah, maybe I look a little bit younger. But what women don't realize is that they're operating not on their thinking, they're operating on their feelings. And when they encounter me in real life, how old are you is not a factor. They're encountering like, oh, I find this guy attractive. He's tall, he's strong, he's charming, he's funny. And then on the back, you're like, oh, how old are you? Just to center you somewhere in terms of how to look at what your experience level might be. But it's never an issue of like, oh, that's your age? Oh, I'm out. Like, no, not at all. And we're talking about like the most beautiful women in the countries that are known for having beautiful women. So what I'm pointing out to you is a woman, you might ask her like, well, what age guy would you date? And she'll say out of her mouth, oh, you know, I'm 19. I want to date a guy who's like 19 to 22. And then she goes out in the world, meets me, and then she's like, well, I like him. And then that's like kind of like the end of the whole thing. That's how women are actually operating in real life. And we do have clinical immaturity. If a woman dates a guy who's younger than her, this is a major red flag. Females who date down in age are usually very messed up in here because they're looking to have a target that's easy to manipulate, to control, and to dominate. Ooh. When women say things like, I want a guy who's taller, you're saying I want a guy who's bigger, which means stronger, which means he could dominate me. When a woman's saying, I want a guy who's younger, she's looking for someone that she can outmaneuver mentally. It is not the natural inclination of the healthy female. So you should be suspicious of that inclination of having a guy who's your age, which is parity, equality, or a guy who's younger in age. All of this goes in contradiction to what is natural for a female seeking security, someone who can provide. A guy your age can't provide. If you're 24 and he's 24, and I went to great universities, was very ambitious, at 24, I didn't have anything. How could you? Now, if I was a 24-year-old thought talking about hot tour, then yeah, I might have been balling, but that's not the case. So what we have to realize is that right, that's sick. I'm done.
So, go ahead. You have something?
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, guys, we're gonna switch on over to Cast Club. I'm gonna ask this question though before we switch on over.
Okay.
Ladies, knowing what you know now, are you going to speed up the process of trying to find a man, or are you going to just keep on trucking the way you've been trucking? We'll say right here.
I mean, who said that I'm not already looking and I just can't find one?
That's what's up. Shout out to you.
Interesting. Okay, I have a follow-up question with that, but I'll come back to you. What about you?
It's hard in Miami.
I mean,
For
I'm just gonna
girls.
keep living my life, I guess. Like I feel like if you look too hard for something, people are more likely to like settle for less. So I don't want to
Hard.
settle for less. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm looking hard for, you know.
Interesting.
I mean,
I live my life.
sometimes it smacks you in the head, you know?
Yeah.
It's a bit hard too.
All right, so you're saying you're not gonna press it too much because you might push people away.
Well, not only that, but like, you know, when people are so obsessed with like finding a girlfriend or finding a
Facts.
boyfriend,
Yeah.
they kind of are more likely to settle for someone that they're like, oh, well, I just want a relationship, so I guess I'll take it. Where
Okay, so you're not gonna settle.
no,
Interesting.
not
I
in
got
that way.
I
I
got
don't
a
want to
follow-up
settle for
question
something.
for you
yeah.
too.
Okay.
Okay, I got a follow-up for you too. This is gonna be fun.
She's
This is gonna
looking
be
for
really
perfection,
fun.
man.
What about you, Algeria? Why are you going to adjust your strategy knowing what you know now?
Yeah.
How are you gonna adjust it?
Stop the cap.
Sorry, what was the question? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, got you.
I'm not understanding it.
Guys,
She got some fire cat though. I
So
already
you
know.
literally just said yes, and then I asked the follow. So you didn't even.
I know.
I'm so
do?
hot, guys.
That's what's up.
Okay. Knowing what you know now, are you going to change or lower your standards? Change or lower them?
No.
No, I wouldn't lower them.
Okay.
Never.
Okay, so you're not going to lower them. All right.
Never.
How are you going to change things then if you're not going to lower them?
I don't know.
Guys, no, I mean, I would just like, I don't know, like same thing with her. Like, I don't want to chase for a guy, but like I do eventually want to settle down.
Interesting.
That
Maybe.
attitude,
I
I've
don't
heard
wanna
this
chase.
attitude so many
Yeah.
times. Like, I don't want to chase you.
Like,
It's
no, like I want to find a man. Like
No.
at the end of the day,
This is actually
What's your
fantastic.
I
get-
want to find a man.
That's fine.
What's your age?
We'll leave it. I don't want to influence them.
Okay.
What about you? Well, knowing what you know now, you're 28 years old. Are you going to adjust your strategy, lower your standards? What are you going to do?
I don't think I had a strategy. I think
Facts.
I was
I
just
believe it.
going,
With
No
the flow.
strategy.
going with the flow in
flow?
a way. Like, I mean,
Go
I
with the flow.
haven't found anyone that
Dead.
honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
What do you suggest for me to?
We'll get into that here in a
Okay,
second.
yeah.
What about you? Knowing what you know now, you're 34. Are you going to
Damn, man.
Like, know what you're doing now. You're 85. And so based on that.
Come on, man. Why you guys being dicks? I got my notes here, man. Yo, I got my notes here. I literally have all their stuff written down, man.
Pause though. Pause on that,
Okay,
man.
no, okay. So knowing that, are you going to adjust your strategy, switch it around, go girls only? Like, what is your?
Bro, she's gone. Bro.
I'm just going with the flow.
Yeah, she's going with the flow.
Same as her. I don't know. I actually, I'm sure you have Gary around here. You talk to him a lot, right?
Yes.
So my numerology number is 33. I'm a 33 lifetime. Okay.
my God.
And if you believe in that, it makes
Nobody
sense to me
does.
because
I do.
I don't
So
really
you're gonna
care
go with the flow
if I have
and
anybody.
numerology.
I'm very happy single too, so I don't really care if something
either
comes
way.
up and I
That's
find
fine.
a best friend that I can eventually have sex with and go in that direction, have a relationship with. Cool, but I'm not really looking for somebody to just meet and start fucking. For me, it's got to be a friendship that builds and becomes that. And if it's not that, I'm just really not interested.
What about you? What are you? Knowing what you know now, you're 23. Would you? Are you going to adjust your strategy? Are you going to lower your standards? What are you going to do?
I was in a
Knowing what you know now.
yeah, I was in a 5-year relationship.
Okay.
We broke up last year.
Okay.
I turned, I had my whole face, and
Okay.
then now I'm like looking for my husband. So yeah.
Wait, you had how
Husbands.
many bodies and you was in a 5-year relationship?
20.
No, I gotta do some math here. Fuck that. Wait, what is your age currently?
She's 23.
Yeah, 23.
Well, you're 23. You was in a 5-year relationship. 23 minus 5 is what?
18.
You a little slow on the draw. 18. Boom. So
In 1
from-
year, yes. I'm sorry.
1 year.
Okay.
Wait, that was
My math
1
isn't
year of
right.
sex?
1 year.
Probably.
No.
So, okay.
That's the whole phase.
I think I know. Hold on.
Yeah,
I think I
yeah,
know
one
what happened here.
manic.
Let me guess.
I
Let me
started
guess.
doing drugs.
Was he your high school sweetheart?
Yeah, he was.
Okay. Were you guys in that 5-year relationship continuously with no
Yes.
breaks? And you were only monogamous to him?
Yes, absolutely.
go, there's
And
your answer.
I brought him in girls
Bro, that,
too.
And also,
And
Sure,
I
sure.
took care of the bills. So
when
I
you,
guess that's
when you
Shout
get
out to
past
Shorty.
that level of
Your
intimacy,
stock has risen in my eyes. You taking care of the
Really?
bills? I like that.
Oh yeah, I had a
That turns me on.
$3,000 apartment that I was paying for.
Wait, did you break
Turns
up
me
with
on.
him?
No
Did you
minor.
break up with him or did you break up with
No,
you?
he broke up with me because he's like, Jen, because I stopped having sex with him.
He wanted a bigger apartment.
yo,
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was either pussy or a bigger
Yeah.
apartment.